Yo, what's going on, y'all? 805 Just here, the real Capri Sun, Mr. Cranberry Funk, the Prince of Patagonia, Commodore of the Coast Guard. I still got all my wisdom teeth. And Ventura, California, the 805 on the Central Coast is the place on my birth certificate. Let's just get right into it, y'all. Breaking news, breaking news. I believe the news broke this morning. I don't think it was last night. I think it was early this morning. But for those of you who watch sports TV and commentary shows and sports debate shows, then you're very familiar with the topic and the people I'll be referring to right now. And those people include Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Most of us know her as Molly, but I believe her last name is pronounced Qerim or Qerim, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I'm not messing that up. But it came out this morning that ESPN offered Molly a new contract or an extension on her current contract, and she said no. She said, I'm good. She said, I'll pass, and I'm moving on. The show opened this morning with only Stephen A. Smith. As you know, Stephen A. Smith is basically the main host, the main character on First Take. He's been that for many years. Crazy contract with ESPN, millions of dollars. He's that guy up there. And Molly has been the moderator. Molly has been the one to, kind of keep the show going and, step in during debates and whatnot. And I want to say Molly's been with ESPN at least 10 years. I didn't look and read any articles yet, regarding the minute details about, her contract and whatnot. But I want to say Molly's been with ESPN at least a decade because she's been there a while. Before ESPN, I believe she was at the NFL Network. If I'm not mistaken, it was either Fox. She was either at Fox Sports or the NFL Network. But I remember when she was at the NFL Network. And then I remember when she joined ESPN. So she's been there a minute. And she said no. And it sounds like from what Stephen A. Smith said on First Take this morning is that she's done for the rest of the year. That she's done. She's out. She will not be on First Take. You will not see her on ESPN for the rest of the year. To me, it sounds like a contract / severance type situation where basically once, it was decided or she decided that she wasn't going to re-sign or didn't like the new contract offer, I believe ESPN probably said something like, okay, well, you can be off the air, for the rest of the year and we'll pay you out. We'll pay you out the rest of your contract. Or you could work the rest of the year and still get paid. But either way, it's, we're done here. And so I don't know what she plans to do next. Now, a lot of people online are saying that she might have a lawsuit getting ready, to pop out. That would be interesting. I hope she, hasn't been harmed. I hope there hasn't been any illegal things happening, and I hope she's not a victim or anything like that. But if that does happen, that will be breaking news. That will be a bombshell. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised with all the drama that's been going on, in the sports world, specifically when it comes to people who are on TV and sports personalities. I would not be surprised, if you just do your research, if you just do your Googles, go on YouTube. I mean, you're on YouTube watching this video right now, but if you just look around, you'll see there's some pretty crazy, outlandish clips that include Molly where, some guys are, they're doing locker room talk around her or they're being a little manly around her. And, did they break the law in those instances? In my opinion, hey, it's not for me to say, but definitely was not appropriate and definitely not something that a gentleman should do around a lady. And like I said, that's coming from someone who's worked in sports media, worked in newsrooms, been around, other anchors of all genders. And you just got to treat everybody with respect, and you can't just say anything, even if it's you and the guys. And it's kind of been like that. If you're a fan of First Take or if you've watched ESPN for many years, Molly's been the moderator surrounded by men, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, whoever. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to be very interesting to see not only who ESPN puts in Molly's chair, who will replace Molly, but how they move forward. As you know, or if you don't know, Stephen A. Smith is the executive producer of First Take. So I'm sure, him and Molly are on good terms. I'm thinking, like I said, he gave a very heartfelt message on air today that you can find on ESPN. But I just want to see what's her next move. Is she done? Is she retiring from TV? What is she gonna do? So I'm sure we'll find out soon. But you will not be seeing Molly on First Take or ESPN for the rest of the year. And it sounds like her time is done there. So very interesting. As always, shout out to y'all. I appreciate everybody. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all the most because I know you get notified every time I drop something new. I'll be back on camera soon. I got a computer issue I got to deal with. Got my daughter, family stuff. It's life. You know what I mean? So I'll be back on camera soon, though. And we'll continue to talk about stuff going on in the sports world, entertainment, keeping it light. Because life is real, and, if we don't have to, talk about things that are too harsh, why should we? But I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And as always, peace.
The gigantic going out of business sale at Circuit City has reached the final days. Get total liquidation prices on absolutely everything. Like 25% off notebook and desktop computers. Take a whopping 30% off all plasma TVs, digital camcorders, and digital cameras, including SLR. Save 40% on CDs and DVDs, software, phones, faxes, shredders, and more. Get 50% off all furniture, phone accessories, and select mobile audio. Don't wait until it's over. Shop now during the final days of the Circuit City going out of business sale.